Welcome back to Hooton Park here in Cheshire for the final round of the Indikart Championship this season. There's been plenty of action and drama in all of the classes. Here are some of the highlights and lowlights. Nobody could have predicted the drama to come. Jake Sanson calls them home.
It's a really interesting battle into this last lap. Can Cannon overhaul Jepson? It's going to be very close indeed as Cannon looks one way, looks the other. Jepson has got one eye on his shoulder and round they go. They both go. Oh my goodness. Both drivers have spun it. And surely Elsie Cannon might just get an opportunity to take it away from both of them. Toby Cannon is off and he's going no further. Elsie Cannon is going to be able to catch up to second place. Jepson recovers on track in the lead. Actually right at the back of the grid, sliding off the road. Whoa, Miles goes airborne. Kinder's going to get squeezed. Oh, he's actually spun it. And everybody else is trying to avoid him. Lee went in. I think Knowles went in there as well. Way to the first corner. We're on board with Pete Abbott. Up to the first corner we go. And Dransfield is going to tuck it right in and spin. Oh, what a big moment from Will Dransfield. He just locks it up. Let's watch it again. Was there any contact to get there?
Don't think there was.
No, I think he just hit the brakes trying to avoid the leader.
This is the replay from the onboard camera. Let's have a look. Any contact?
No, there's none at all in the initial moment.
No,
there might
no
have been
contact. Officials really look very favourably on drivers that ignore flags. Coming out for the senior Rotax final, that's the 81 Kart Lewis Smith and Troy Spencer from pole on the formation lap. Chucks it off, all his own work. Turn one, it looks like Holden's held on. Ollier's run wide and he spun it. Championship leader has spun round, right at the back of the field. Early drama in the junior final. We'll have another look at the replay. Well, this is from the onboard camera of Lewis Sumner. You can see Ollier going round there, facing the wrong way. He is out of it, and looks like he got a little bit of a tap from behind. Let's have a look, see if we can feel. Couldn't feel very much from that. He might think it's James Dunn, but I can tell him it's Martin Ingham that's just tapped his rear end. Now from Callum Kinder, back on board here with Leo Jackson up the inside of Tommy Lee, makes a place, a little bit of contact, but going past first Morris, then Harding, and now Mackenzie Stevens goes past. It looks like Tommy Lee, a little bit of contact running into the back of Leo Jackson, and Lee has dropped all the way down to 21st place. Is he out of the race? He's proud of working at Audi, and so he should be. Up the inside for a spot, Roger Moore on Martin Ingham, and they collide. And that does not look like Martin Ingham has come off best. He's holding his, looks like he's holding his arm, is it his wrist possibly? Have a look at the slow motion replay. Locks it up, and Roger Moore looks up the inside. And I think he'll be the first to hold his hand up and say that was a little bit ambitious, to say the least. And it looks like he's landed on Martin Ingham's wrist. It looked like it was flopping about there. Has he broken his wrist? We'll have another look. This is Martin Ingham's onboard camera. Let's see how it looks like in real time. Doesn't look good, does it? Not very saintly of Roger Moore. And that was pretty much all she wrote almost for this one, apart from this incident, as looking up the inside of James Dunn was William Dransfield, caught his rear end, spun James Dunn out. We rejoin it, and this is the battle for the lead. Dransfield round the outside of Walker. Oh, contact between them. Contact, and Walker, race leader through the line into the last lap, has spun it, and he is out. Well, that was a quick look back at some of the drama and action from this season. As you can see, as we join it for Heat 1 here of the juniors, the conditions are absolutely miserable. These are the grid positions, and we've got potential drama here today in this class. Tom Holden's on pole from James Ollier, then George Daniels, Adam Catling, Kasauri, Vitarek, Jackson Lane, Owen Rathbone, Max Greenland off P8, and P9 is Oliver Green. Just 9 drivers in this one. The grid has been affected by an event elsewhere this weekend, but the drama is going to be right at the front of the field. Tom Holden on pole, James Ollier alongside. Tom Holden leads the championship by 4 points coming into the round. James Ollier is the man in second place. They come down to P1, turn 1 for the first time, and Ollier's got caught out on the outside, and Ollier down to 5th place. Make that 4th. Make that 4th as he goes through to turn 1. Junior Rotax Championship leader is pictured, that is Tom Holden. But Ollier has to win both of these heats to put himself on pole. That's not the start he wanted, going from P2 down to P4. He was hoping to grab himself the lead going through turn 1. Has he got 3rd place up into the double apex? He has, so Ollier through to 3rd place. Now, the drama is this, that's Jackson Lane pictured, the man from Bolton. side by side with Adam Catling. Ollier still there in 4th place, and Holden getting away. That's no good for James Ollier. Now, James Ollier, as he comes around the outside where the grip is, it looks like he may go 3rd. He's got the pace down the straight. Here he comes for 3rd place. Back into 3rd, is he? No, still there in 4th. Frustrating for Ollier, but gets Adam Catling on the switchback. So through to 3rd place, Catling down to 4th. This is the battle for 3rd we're looking at. That's Kasari Vitarek, the man from Blackpool. He went through the line there in 6th place. As George Daniels looks up the inside of Holden. Does he get it done? No. Holden still holds on. And then Ollier into 3rd. So George Daniels in 2nd place. That's Adam Catling on the 7. He's 4th. In 5th place, it is Jackson Lane. Green helmet, easy to spot there, and in behind him the 32, Kasari Vitarek. Tom Holden leads it, the man from Helmshire in Lancashire, and leads the championship. So leads the championship by 4 points. Frankly, if you get pole for the final, you score 10 championship points, 9 for 2nd, 8 for 3rd, and so on. If you win the final, you score 20 points, and then 18 as Ollier nearly loses a place to Catling, but just holds on. Tom Holden's put in the fastest lap. Score 20 points to win the final, 18, 16 and so on. So this is the scenario. James Ollier has to get pole, whatever happens, for the final. Give himself 10 points. If Holden comes 2nd, he'll score 9. And if he does so, it would mean in the final, if Ollier was on pole, he would just have to sit behind Ollier for the whole race and he would win the championship by 1 point. However, things don't always work out the way you think. And at the moment, it's Holden's that come through the S's that leads this one. Ollier there in 3rd place, that's no good for him. He's got to get past George Daniels first on the 78, and Daniels has clearly got some pace. He's got to get past Daniels and then get after Holden, and Holden's got a decent advantage, 1.2 seconds as he went through the line. So Holden in 2nd, 1.5 back to James Ollier. That's the gap that Ollier's got to make up. Look at the conditions, absolutely miserable today here at Hooton Park in the wet. You've got 4 wet tyres on as Daniels looks up the inside of Holden, getting close to him but can't get the job done. Here comes Ollier down the outside, but Daniels has got the inside into the double apex. Will Ollier look up the inside? No, he takes a wide line. That'll give him more grip out there. It'll give him more grip and pace coming out of the turn, but can't get past Daniels into the S's. Into Stanlow for another time. This is the final turn on the track. Look at the rain coming down now on this lens. It's pouring down, and Ollier's through to 2nd. Through to 2nd and sets the fastest lap. 48.249, but not for long. As Daniels gets him back, and Ollier gets him on the switchback again. Frustrating these conditions can be. Look at the rooster tails coming off that you won't be able to see very much. If you're George Daniels here right behind James Ollier, and Ollier looks up the inside of Holden, but again, can't quite get past. All you're looking at is a spray of water right on your helmet. There's no windscreen wipers, so very difficult to see in the conditions. And Daniels looks up the inside of Ollier again, but can't quite get it done because you take the narrow line. You're on the rubbery part of the track and it's very slippery. Into Stanlow one more time. That gap was 1.5 seconds last time. It's not 1.5 seconds now, is it? Ollier right there behind Holden. Now Ollier just has to get past him. Now, pole position for the final depends on your results in the heats. Kasari Vitarek there's gone through the line in 5th place, but not for long. Up the inside was Jackson Lane in the green helmet. I think he's got that done. That's for the lead. Ollier through the lead, but not for long. Holden gets him on the switch back now. And Ollier looks up the inside into the Hooton hairpin and gets it done this time. But he's on the slippery part of the track. Can he hold on? He does. So Ollier through to the lead. Holden looking for a way past into the double apex. In behind is George Daniels and Adam Catling on the 7. And that's Holden for the lead again. That's 4 lead changes, I think, on the one lap. And here comes Ollier. Looks up the inside into the S's, but can't quite get through. Look at the raindrops on this lens. Now, the lens is clean between races, so you can tell how much rain has fallen or is falling as we speak. It's not coming into the lens here as Ollier looks up the inside again down to turn 1. Can't quite get past. Daniels there in 3rd, looking very racy. Looks like he's got some pace this weekend. As another Adam Catling, that's the 5th lead change, and Ollier's got it this time. He'll take a narrow line into the turn. Holden looked to go round the outside where all the grip is, and Daniels up the inside, and Daniels had 2nd place, but not for long, spins himself out, and frankly, that's no good for George Daniels, but it's no good for James Ollier either. He would have hoped that other drivers on the track, the likes of George Daniels, Adam Catling and Kasari Vitarek, whom this one is too far back in 5th place, could take places off Tom Holden and cost him grid positions for the final and thereby championship points. So 10 points if you have pole in the final, 9 for second, 8 for third and so on, and then 20 points if you win the final, 18, 16, 14, so 2 points gap there. So the scenario is Holden there in second place. If he's second place on the grid for the final and he finishes second in the final to James Ollier, he will win the championship by 1 point. James Ollier needs somebody between himself and Tom Holden. The likes of Adam Catling here on the number 7 kart. He was hoping George Daniels would be in the mix as well, because James Ollier needs as many fast drivers at the front of the field as possible to take places off Holden. The likes of Catling, Kazari, Vajcharek there in 4th place, and George Daniels as was, he's now down in 6th, can all take places off Tom Holden in the final. You rejoin us for the first heat of Junior Rotax this weekend. We're into the last lap and it is Ollier that leads it from Holden still in second, but Adam Catling there in third. Now Catling would do James Ollier a huge favour if he could get past from third to second before the checkered flag on this last lap, but he's got very few opportunities to do it. That was the first one in Hooton Hairpin. He gets closer, he's right on the back of him. Will he look up the inside into the double apex? No, not close enough. Ollier just needs to win this one, concentrate on keeping it on the track. Got back markers in the way currently. Holden holding on to second. It's going to be James Ollier, I think, that wins this one through the S's for the final time through Stanlow Bend. And Holden has a quick sneak preview up the inside of James Ollier, but nothing doing as Ollier takes the win. It is Holden second, Adam Catling in third, Kazari Vajcharek comes home. Ollier sets the fastest lap there, 48.249. Jackson Lane finished in 5th place, and then George Daniels goes through in a disappointing 6th. He was looking at second place up in Hooton Hairpin before it all went wrong. That's the official result on screen. The first part of the job for James Ollier has been done. He would have been hoping that Tom Holden would be further back than second, but at the end of the day, he can only affect what he does, not what Holden does. The racing's coming at you thick and fast in this one. No talking heads, pure racing all the way through. Mackenzie Stevens on pole for the first heat of Senior Rotax from Jack Hayes-Roberts, Curtis Harding, Louis Merica, Robbie Rigby, Luke Davis, Adam Cerner, Zach Belker and Michael Adamczyk. Adamczyk crashed out in the final last month through turn 2. Let's hope he gets further this time. This is the first heat of the weekend. Mackenzie Stevens has been on fire. Curtis Harding gets him though down the inside, and Stevens gets him on the switchback. Great driving by Mackenzie Stevens. Here comes Jack Hayes-Roberts up the inside for second. He dropped to third, starting P2 on the grid. Dropped to third and back through to second. That is Mackenzie Stevens, been on fire this weekend so far, revelling in these conditions. The man from Lichfield in Staffordshire. That's Jack Hayes-Roberts, second in the championship and second on track at the moment. Curtis Harding had that great start. That's Robbie Rathbone pictured, the champion in 2023. I can tell you that he won the championship at round 8, I'm told, so no need to race this weekend. So no Robbie here, and that gives opportunities to people like Curtis Harding, you've just seen pictured on screen, the man from Chester, and Louis Merica from Alderley Edge, and not least Mackenzie Stevens, who's out front and leading by 1.4 seconds. These look like the conditions that Mackenzie Stevens really likes. This is a battle for second between Jack Hayes-Roberts and Curtis Harding. Louis Merica there close in 4th place, Luke Davis in behind in 5th. Then comes Robbie Rigby, and you could just make out Michael Adamczyk on the back of that group. So this is that battle for second. Jack Hayes-Roberts, he's got some extreme pace, but today doesn't seem to have an answer. As you see that inside rear wheel lifting, it is what you need to do to turn the kart at the front. Doesn't seem like Jack Hayes-Roberts has got much of an answer to Mackenzie Stevens in this one though. Stevens is, well, frankly, he's just clearing off. He had a 1.4 second lead at the end of the last lap. What's he got now? Let's have a look as they go through. He's created a second for himself. Big lock up there by Jack Hayes-Roberts. Now, he likes to do that, but in the dry, that's fine. In the wet, you risk locking it up and chucking it off all your own work. But again, does it again, you can see, just loves that style of driving. Mackenzie Stevens set the fastest lap so far at 47.501. Jack Hayes-Roberts on the 88, Have a look at the inside rear wheel lifting here as you go through the exit of the AA. There you go. The inside rear wheel has to lift, and I like the fact that it's lifting 1.5 inches or so in the wet. That's what you want to see. Now in the dry, you don't want it lifting that much. You just want it lifting off the surface so that the front turns. In the dry, it should be an indiscernible lift. In the wet, you don't mind seeing a little bit of a gap between tarmac and rubber. We're into the last lap, and it is Mackenzie Stevens coming up to the back marker that's going to win this one, and Stevens wins it as he goes through the line. What a lead he has at the end of this first one. He set the fastest lap there, 46.936. We'll have to keep an eye on the lap time, 7.889 seconds by the flag. This could be a Mackenzie Stevens weekend. He'll be looking to take the trophy home at the end of it in the final. That's the official result on screen. Stevens from Jack Hayes Roberts, Curtis Harding, Louis Merica, Luke Davis, Michael Adamczyk up to 6 in the end from Robbie Rigby, Zach Bowker and Adam Cerner rounding out the 9 drivers in this one. Last of the Heat 1s. On screen is Senior Rotax 177, biggest grid of the year, in fact, 13 of them. Tommy Austin leads it from pole from Jack Cheadle, Roger Moore, Ryan Walker, Dan Millward, Ian Presswich, William Dransfield Championship leader there in 7th place. Ingham Booth and Lambert from Blackhurst, Knight and Peter Abbott. We're underway running into turn 1. It looks like the pole man has got the lead. He has, and that is despite the man in 2nd place, Jack Cheadle, going through the line in 1st. As you can see, William Dransfield, Senior Rotax Championship leader on the 26th. He can win it this weekend, and I fully expect him to do so. You can see the positions on the screen. That says they went through the line at the start of the race. Jack Cheadle should have been P2, but as you can see, he went through a fraction ahead, a millisecond ahead of Tommy Austin, but it is Austin that leads this one. Tommy Austin won this race comfortably earlier in the season. Then I think he switched to 162, the lighter weight class, and now he switched back to 177. Now you have to be a minimum weight to race in this class. Not only you as an individual, but the cart and all your kit have to be 177 kilos, and going through for a spot there as he went through the line was Ian Presswich. We'll see if he held on to it. So we switch to this camera angle in the hairpin. That's Austin, Cheadle, Roger Moore. Here comes 22, that's Dan Millward. Millward went through the line in 6th, but he's back up to 4th place. Lambert on the yellow cart. Got another switch, I think, for 5th place there as well. Back with the leading group, that's the 11 cart in 2nd place, Jack Cheadle. I think this is the first look we've seen of Jack this weekend. 13 drivers here, the biggest grid in this class this weekend, which is a little bit surprising. But they clearly like a bit of wet racing. You can see the rain again still coming down, not as heavy as it was in the earlier junior final. Austin sets the fastest lap, 47.431. It's Ryan Walker up to 5th place now. Ian Presswich down to 6th. And then William Dransfield, championship leader, in 7th. Now, Ian Presswich is 2nd in the championship, but frankly, he would have to put it on pole and win the final, score 30 points and hope that other results went his way, and I think that's unlikely, frankly. That looks like the 58 up the inside. Presswich looking for a spot on the 35 cart. Last month's winner, in fact, Ryan Walker on the 35, but it was dry last month. These wet conditions, a whole new ball game. How do you like the wet? What sort of setup have you got on the cart? That's the question. As far as Tommy Austin's concerned, he's got a setup that's 2.1 seconds ahead of everybody else. When he was at the head of the last lap, he's now 3.5 seconds ahead. So 47.248. That's about 1.4 seconds quicker than anybody else on track at the moment. Cheadle, Moore, Millward, Walker, and Presswich go through the line. Dransfield championship leader still there in 7th, some 9 seconds, 9.8 seconds off the lead, but it's Presswich, the man he has to finish ahead of just to secure the championship. And Presswich, as you can see there, only just in front of Dransfield at the moment, but I'm thinking Dransfield may tick him off his list sometime very soon. So Tommy Austin with a comfortable victory as he comes through Stanlow. He takes the right line through the turn. You want to take a wider line in the wet conditions. You don't want to be racing where the rubber is. So the normal racing line, let's see what he does again, goes around the outside of the turn. The reason being the rubber is on the inside. That's David Blackhurst out. Mr. Orange crashed in the double apex. So David Blackhurst with it all to do from there to recover. You may join us on the penultimate lap, having a quick look there at Mr. Orange. We've just seen him recover after his earlier spin. Starter's got the last lap board in his hand. That was Tommy Austin just going through the picture. 5.4 seconds he had the lead last time. Still got 5.4 over Jack Cheadle, Roger Moore, then William Dransfield, Dan Millward there in 5th place on the 22 kart. Ryan Walker, winner last time in 6th. We're into the last lap. It's going to be a comfortable victory in this opening heat of the weekend for that man there, Tommy Austin, the man from Aldi. He loves working at Aldi supermarkets. Other supermarkets are available, just not as good. Just not as good. I shop at Aldi, as you can tell. And that's my attempt to get Aldi sponsorship for next year over and done with. Tommy Austin takes the win. Comfortable victory by the checkered flag. Jack Cheadle well clear in 2nd place. Is it a close battle for 3rd? We'll wait and see it. Dransfield has made his way up to 4th place, by the way. He was down in, 7th place, I think, earlier on. I think there's been some drama on the last lap, you know. That's the result. Let's have a look. So Tommy Austin from Jack Cheadle, Roger Moore. William Dransfield in 4th from Mark Lambert on the yellow karts. He's in 5th. Ian Presswich, 2nd in the championship, is 2 places behind Dransfield. That won't help him in his quest to win the title. Sam Booth led the championship after round 2, comes home in P7, missed a lot of the championship so far. Ryan Walker, last month's winner, in P8, and that is Millward on the 22. So he's had some drama on the last lap. He's going to get is he going to get a push here from Ryan Walker? He is. So he's going to get a push. Obviously he's got some mechanical dramas. He's going to get a push by Ryan Walker all the way back to Park Ferme. You don't see that in Formula 1. Here we go for Heat 2 of Junior Rotax. If you were with us earlier, you won't want to miss this one. The drama was immense, and talking of drama, that's the pole man. James Ollier has spun it out, all his own work. Now, is the Robbie rule in effect? No, it isn't. The starter is letting them go round again, and wow, what drama that is. Heat 2, the grid positions are based on the earlier finishing positions. Now I'm talking about the Robbie rule there. Robbie Rathbone spun it off, all his own work, coming out of the pits when he was on pole earlier in the season. I said then we should have a new rule, the Robbie rule. If you spin off on pole on the formation lap, for whatever reason, you should have to start at the back of the grid. That's just a rule I think we should bring in here at Hooton Park. In fact, you should have that rule everywhere, frankly. But it is Ollier on pole from Holden now. Ollier needs to win this. He hopes that other drivers can get between him and a man in 2nd place who's on the outside through turn 1, has lost spots. And on Holden runs wide, championship leader. He's got 2 wheels on the grass. He's down to 5th place. And that's exactly what Ollier would have wanted. He wouldn't have wanted to see that. No, Kasari Vartarak's left the track. He's somebody that can take points off Tom Holden. George Daniels started P3, he's into P2. Round the outside of Holden is Jackson Lane in the green helmet. He was 2nd very temporarily, now back into 3rd. Started P5 though, so he's made up a couple. Looks up the inside of Catling, contact with Catling. Oh, that slowed their momentum. Here comes Holden. Holden's going to do himself a pair, and he does. Holden does himself a brace. James Ollier is the race leader, but he wouldn't have wanted to see that. Holden coming through, a couple of them, to get back into 2nd place. Now Ollier's well clear here. What leads he got? Just under a second, but it's Tom Holden in 2nd now. Ollier just needs to win this race, and that is Jackson Lane spinning it off, all his own work into turn 1 at Vauxhall Bend. He'll be absolutely gutted with that. He was temporarily into 2nd. Kasari Vajtarak has rejoined the racetrack. He's a 1 lap down though. Here comes George Daniels for a spot. George Daniels started P6 and he's now into P3. We know he had some pace, had 2nd very, very temporarily before spinning it off. This is that battle for 3rd between Daniels and Catling. So Jackson Lane is out, went through the line in 4th place last time. He'll drop to the back of the field when he comes through next time. So Daniels there in 3rd place. He was 2nd, very temporarily of course, in that earlier heat. You may have been with us for fastest lap now by Tom Holden. Now interestingly, it was Ollier that chased Holden down last time, but in this one it looks like Holden's the man with the pace, 47.807. That's his fastest lap so far. We're looking at the battle there for 3rd place. Still Daniels from Adam Catling. Now James Ollier could do with George Daniels and Adam Catling working together here to catch Holden in set. I don't think they're going to do that, frankly. I think here this is that battle for 3rd. I think they're just a little bit too far behind. I think Hooton should hold on to at least second, but he'll be hoping to win this. I think if they tie on points in the heats, I've got a feeling that the grid position for the final goes to the man who sets the fastest lap in the earlier heats. I think. I'm not absolutely certain on that if it's tied on points, but there is some sort of tiebreaker. Ollier just needs to win this one. He sets the fastest lap now, 47.748. 7/10 of a second or so is his lead. It was half a second last time, so now fastest man on track. Again, have a look at that battle for third place. George Daniels from Adam Catling. Ollier just needs to win this one, put himself on pole. That will give him 10 championship points for getting pole. And if Holden's in second, that will give him 9 championship points. That will mean for Hooton, he could follow James Ollier all the way in the final, finish second and win the championship by 1 point. Having said that, through the Wilson S's one more time, he is getting closer. Talking about getting closer, it's right on the back of Ollier now. So this one not over by any stretch of the imagination. So through the line, Hooton 3/10, it was 7/10, not anymore. Daniel's still there in third, then Catling. Owen Rathbone's just gone through in 5th place from Jackson Lane, the man in the green helmet. Then comes Max Greenland, Oliver Green and Kisari Wojciech. Now Wojciech was one of those drivers. It's not going the way Ollier would have hoped for. He knows that the likes of Daniels, Catling and Wojciech can all challenge Hooton for position on track and win him the championship. Now, having said that, they can also challenge him, of course, but he can't think about that. He just needs other drivers to challenge Hooton and take in the final. If he can get pole for the final, he needs to win it and hope that Hooton comes third to win the championship by 1 point. If Hooton comes second, he wins the championship by 1 point. And talking about coming second, look at this. He's right on him now, 1/10 behind, so Tom Hooton looking to take the win here in Heat 2. It's not over in this one yet, still some drama to go. Ollier, the fastest man on track at the moment, but Hooton is closing him. Ollier on the 54, Hooton on the 87, as you can see. Then George Daniels is just a little bit too far back, 3.1 seconds behind the leader when they went through the line last time. A little bit too far back to affect the result here at the front, but it's just Hooton. Kisari Wojciech sets the fastest lap. Doesn't help Ollier the fact that he's down there in last place at the moment, and Hooton up the inside into Stanlow and takes the lead. So Tom Hooton through to the lead. Did he give him a think about it? Push signal there. That's very cheeky if he did. And Ollier looking for the lead back straight away. They both slide through Vauxhall at turn 1 into the gate, and Ollier gets the lead back, but for how long? Hooton looking up the inside, maybe looking for a switchback. He'll go wide out of this turn. He'll try to come alongside. Look at that big wide line. He's got all the grip on the outside. He comes side by side with Ollier. Has he got it? They're side by side. 3 lead changes as he go through for the lead, so Hooton back into the lead, but for how long? Make that 4 lead changes as Ollier gets it back, and now Hooton holds him off again. 5 lead changes into the S's this time. Oh, absolute drama at the front, and Daniels is loving this. He's looking at it. He was 3.1 seconds off the lead. He's now 2.4 seconds off the lead, and he'll be closer than that when he go through. This time he's 1.3. So it's Hooton that has it from Ollier, and Daniels now looking up the inside of Ollier. Ollier doesn't want to see that. He wants to see him get past him and maybe get past Hooton, providing he could go with him and then win the race. But Ollier looking for Daniels to be quick, and he's got a lead back, but not for long. That's 7 lead changes now, and that's in the last few laps. Incredible. Hooton has got it, but here comes Ollier again for another lead change, and he's got the lead. Make that 8 lead changes, and now it's 9 lead changes. Hooton gets it back through the S's one more time. Absolute drama here at Hooton Park in the wet conditions, I've got to say. Fantastic clean racing by both of these drivers in what is absolutely abysmal conditions, wet conditions, and Ollier up the inside, make that 10 lead changes, but it looks like Hooton's going to get him back on the inside, does he? No, not quite. Ollier that has it then, second in the championship. Hooton first in the championship, came into the round 4 points ahead. Now this result will give James Ollier pole position for the final. That will score him 10 points, Hooton will score 9, so there'll be 3 points in it. If then Ollier wins the final, Hooton comes second, Hooton will win the championship by just 1 point. So James Ollier needs somebody between himself and Hooton in the final. It's as simple as that. Up in the inside, Hooton back through to the lead, and that is 11 lead changes, but Ollier's got the outside line, he's got more grip coming through the turn. We're into the last lap. 11 lead changes so far. Now, I'm not sure what the countback position will be if they're tied on points, but here comes Ollier up the inside to take the lead back. He does. 12 lead changes in this one in the latter half of the race. Last 4 or 5 laps, it has to be said. 12 lead changes. It's Ollier that's got it. He needs to stay there to make sure, guarantee himself pole for the final. And 10 championship points. Holden would score 9. We've got a back marker in the way. This could affect the result here. Back marker in the way, gets out of the way. That's good aware driving, but he's in the way of Holden in second. Holden's going to have to satisfy himself with second place. It's going to be Ollier that wins this one. All Ollier so far. All Ollier so far. He'll have pole for the final. 10 championship points, 9 championship points it will be for Holden. He'll go off the final in P2. George Daniels comes through the third. Adam Catlin goes through the line in 4th place. Owen Rathbone, I think, should be next. Here he comes. There he is. Jackson Lane there in the green helmet. He'll be disappointed with 6th place. The official results for Heat 2 on screen now. Ollier from Holden and Daniels, Catlin, Rathbone, Lane, Greenland, Vitarek in 8th. That's not good for James Ollier. Needed him much further up the field for the final. And Oliver Green rounding out the grid in 9. The final's coming up later. Don't miss that. Welcome back to Hooton Park, and Elmslie Port in Cheshire. The Senior Rotax Heat 2 on screen now. The grid positions made up of the earlier finishing positions. Mackenzie Stevens won that one at an absolute canter, and he'll be looking to do the same here. Clearly loves these conditions. The starter gets them underway, run away and running. Curtis Harding again looking for that move up the inside and gets it done again just like he did last time. But can he hold on to it this time? Looks like he can. That's Louis Merricker, Robbie Rigby on the 111 and Luke Davis here on the 54. Curtis Harding leads it up to the Hooton hairpin. Here comes Jack Hayes-Roberts up the inside, and Mackenzie Stevens goes up the inside of Harding. Now comes alongside and goes in front. The new race leader, Mackenzie Stevens, from pole, dropped to third and goes from third to first. Look at that inside rear wheel lift. I do like to see that in the wet. You want to see an inside rear wheel lifting in the wet, maybe an inch or so off the ground. You don't want to see that on slicks in the dry. It would create oversteer for the kart. But in these wet conditions, it's what you want to see. It gives you confidence that the front end is turning in. That was Louis Merricker pictured, the man from Alderley Edge in Cheshire, where all the footballers live. So Stevens from Jack Hayes-Roberts, Curtis Harding and Louis Merricker. These 4 now, well clear of Robbie Rigby there, who went through the line in 5th place. Luke Davis is 6th, just pictured there. Adam Cerner just in the picture, just on the edge of the group. Just going through the turn at the top, you just see Adam Cerner there in 7th place. Here comes Jack Hayes-Roberts looking for a spot. Look at that inside rear wheel lift again. Oh, and a little bit of contact there with Jack Hayes-Roberts, but no damage done. Got a little bit squirrely, did Mackenzie Stevens. He led by 0.4 of a second last time, might be slightly more than that this time as a consequence of that contact. Looking up the inside of Jack Hayes-Roberts is Curtis Harding. Going for it, is he? No, not quite. Louis Merricker there in 4th. Going through in 5th was Robbie Rigby. So just under 2 seconds separate the top 4, but 1.1 second is the lead now. He won by 7 or 8 seconds, I think, in that earlier first heat, Mackenzie Stevens. So he is reveling in these conditions. 47.952 his fastest lap in this one so far. And again, he's got quite a comfortable gap at this stage, and I'm expecting him to clear off again. Good inside rear wheel lift on Jack Hayes-Roberts' kart. And as I said earlier, I'll say it again, it's what you want to see in the wet, because it means that the front end is turning in, and it gives the driver that extra bit of confidence that when he turns the wheel, the kart will turn. Now, you don't want it to turn too much and oversteer and spin you off, of course. And as we saw earlier with Jack Hayes-Roberts, he likes to lock up, doesn't he, into the turn, not being quite as aggressive in this one. The rain has eased very slightly. It's still dribbling down, but nowhere near as fierce as it was earlier on. Mackenzie Stevens with the fastest lap. We're looking at the battle here for 6th and 7th place. That's Adam Cerner on the 103. 54 is Luke Daniels up into Hooton hairpin one more time. This is pretty much effectively the only battle on track at the moment as they come out of Hooton hairpin, both sliding through there. Bit of a 4-wheel drift going on. Adam Cerner on the 103, chased by Luke Davis on the 54. But as we go to the finish line, we're into the last lap. Stevens and Hayes Roberts have gone through already. Harding and America here battling for the third place on the spot. It's going to be Miss Stevens that wins it from Jack Hayes Roberts. Who's going to finish third though? That's the question. Well into the last lap, looking up the inside at Hooton Hairpin, but nothing doing for Louis America. Come out of Hooton Hairpin, through the kink. This is the kink there, little left-hander into the double apex. We're back with the race leader. This is Mackenzie Stevens. It's been Stevens all day long so far, and he'll be looking to take that trophy home in the final. It's checker flag for Mackenzie Stevens. Comfortable victory, nowhere near as far clear. 4.4 seconds this time, 7 to 8 seconds last time. So Hayes Roberts has got that much closer, but he's got some work to do between now and the time of the final to change the setup on that car to make sure that he's more competitive than he's been so far. We'll have to see. If anyone can though, Jack Hayes Roberts can. First for Mackenzie Stevens, 2 heat wins gives him pole for the final. Jack Hayes Roberts in second from Curtis Harding, Louis America, Robbie Rigby, Luke Davis, Adam Cerner and Zach Bowker. That's the way it finished. Only 8 finished in this one. As we move on now to the Rotax 177 Heat 2. Tommy Austin, the grid positions for this one based on the finishing positions in the earlier Heat 1. Tommy Austin was a comfortable winner in that from Jack Cheadle. Moore and Dransfield there in 4th place is the championship leader, and he's ahead of Ian Prestwich, a couple of places behind him. That's the man he has to beat effectively today to win the title, and I'm thinking it's pretty much tied up unless it all goes pear-shaped for him. Sliding on the yellow cart was Mark Lambert, and up the inside for a spot is the 11, but does he get it done? Not quite. Jack Cheadle has dropped from 2nd to 4th place. That's William Dransfield in front of him, but he goes up the inside of Dransfield. They're side by side out of Hooton Hairpin. They come through the king. Dransfield's got the inside line, should hold on to it, and he does hold on to it. So Jack Cheadle goes from 2nd to 4th on the opening tour. It is Tommy Austin that leads, and I'm expecting him again to clear off a little bit like he did earlier. Through the Wilson Asses one more time. Mark Lambert there in 5th place on the yellow car, easy to spot. Through Stanlow Bend. Stanlow Oil Refinery off to the left-hand side. And here they come. Austin, Moore in 2nd place from Dransfield Cheadle, Mark Lambert, Ryan Walker, Sam Booth, an earlier winner earlier in the season. Then Martin Ingham in 8th place from Ian Prestwich, the man 2nd in the championship, but well behind Dransfield, who is in 3rd place currently. So this is Dransfield's to lose now, and in fact I think if he gets a decent grid position for the final, it may be all over as far as the championship is concerned. 2nd place for Roger Moore on the 45 kart. This is the best we've seen of Roger all season. Clearly likes the conditions, and talking about liking the conditions, that's the 22 of Dan Millward. Millward, of course, was off on that last lap, so started at the back of the grid for this one, but he's making his way through the field. Made up a couple of places on that one, up to 8th now. Let's see what he can do from there. Tommy Austin sets the fastest lap, 47.784. Roger Moore in 2nd, and Dransfield still there in 3rd place. So Dransfield championship leader, well ahead now of Ian Prestwich, who's down in 10th place as he went through the line. And that could decide the championship right there, I think, before the final even concludes. But going up the inside for another spot, that's Millward again. That's another spot for Millward. Should be up to 7th place. That's Sam Booth, is just overtaken there. And Sam Booth on the 23 kart, there he is. Actually led the championship after round 2, I think it was. A little bit of a battle going down there between the 58 of Ian Prestwich and 83 of Martin Ingham. Sam Booth led the championship at round 2, but then we've not seen much of him for the rest of the season, frankly. This is the first time we've seen him for months here at Hooton Park, but good to see him back this weekend. Mark Lambert there on the yellow car, that's so easy to spot. The orange helmet there is the 22 kart of Dan Millward. He's looking to make up another couple of places here, give himself a decent grid position. He's clearly got pace, Dan Millward. If he can get himself a decent grid position for this final, who knows? Can he compete with Tommy Austin? I doubt anybody can compete with Tommy Austin, to be honest with you. but potentially Dan Millward, if he gets himself a decent grid position in the final, you never know, we'll have to see. Maybe we'll have some dramas in the final going around the outside of the Stanlow Bend. That's the right line, because it looks like it's a slower entry in. It is, but it's a faster exit out because all the grip is on the outside of the turn. Battle for fifth comes down to turn one on the inside in the orange helmet again. Dan Millward taking names and ticking them off the list. We're looking back at turn two, and Lambert gets up the inside of Millward, but then gets all squirrely and loses the place back. So that's Millward on the 22 back through. So that is Lambert on the yellow cart, 22 is Millward, and then in behind them is the 35 of Ryan Walker. Aaron Knight, 33, is out of the race in Stanlow Bend apparently. Should be yellow flags potentially if the cart's in the way. Tommy Austin sets the fastest lap, 47.784 to come through Stanlow Bend. Out of Stanlow onto the start-finish straight. Well, I say it's a straight, bit of a dog leg as you can see there in the middle. Millward, Lambert and Walker towards us, and Walker has spun it off. He's dropped his rear wheels. Have a look in slow motion. What's he done here? Why is he even that close to the grass? He's dropped his rear wheel on the grass. You cannot do that on the straight, and just spins himself straight off. Ryan Walker, the winner last month. We're into the last lap. It is Tommy Austin that leads it comfortably. On the 19 kart, you can see well clear of the rest. He had a 3.2 second lead over William Dransford in second. That's going to pretty much secure the championship for William Dransfield unless there's major dramas in the final. That's Aaron Knight there on the inside of the turn. Now that should mean in the final turn, the yellow flag's waving, so no overtaking in that final turn. So this is the way it's going to finish. Austin from Dransfield. Cheadle goes through in third place. Made up a place, I think, on that last lap from Roger Moore. Millward it is in fifth. Lambert. Presswich is going to come home in seventh, I think. And then comes Martin Ingham, Sam Booth. Ryan Walker is going to finish down somewhere like 10th place. Let's have a look at the official result. Is Walker in 10th? Well, in fact, no. Walker's made up a place to 9th. Making up 8 places, though, Dan Millward finished P5 from the back of the field. So it'll be interesting in the final to see what he can do. He's clearly got some pace. Can he compete with Tommy Austin for the win in the final? Strap yourself in, boys, because this is the Junior Rotax final. The drama could be epic. This could be the race of the season. Now is not a good time to go and make the tee. James Ollier from Tom Holden. If Ollier wins and Holden comes second, Holden wins the championship by 1 point. If Holden comes third and Ollier wins, he will lose the championship by a point. Talking about coming third. Oh, and we've got, that's George Daniels, the man from West Kirby. He is out, and that is not what James Ollier wanted to see. Won't have seen it because it's behind him. But George Daniels is one of those drivers that could have impacted this championship. He is one of those drivers that Ollier would have hoped gets a decent start and gets in front of Tom Holden. There he is, leads the championship by 1 point. If things stay like this, takes a big wide line through the turn. That's Catling in third place. Where's Kasari Vitarek? He's in sixth. Ollier from Holden, Catling, and that's in fourth place. That's Owen Rathbone. Getting a nosebleed. He's that far up the grid. Race leader is James Ollier, but the man in second is the championship leader by a point if it stays like this. Comes through down to turn one. Ollier, Holden right behind. Ollier needs Catling to catch up basically now. I'm not suggesting that Ollier should back up Tom Holden into the drivers behind. I'm not suggesting that, but that's exactly what he should do. And Catling getting closer as he come into the turn, making up a place and recovering is George Daniels into Hooton Hairpin. Welcome back, you rejoin us. We're looking at the battle for fourth place. Owen Rathbone with Kasari Vitarek in behind. Vitarek now has got the fastest lap, but he's not got track position. He is one of those drivers that James Ollier out front needs to be right up Tom Holden's chuff, taking a place off him. They come through the S's one more time. Ollier from Hooton. I can tell you, Hooton's up the inside of the final turn. Outside of the camera. We're looking at Owen Rathbone. So we've had one lead change. We're looking at Owen Rathbone and Kasari Vitre in behind. That's Hooton has got the lead into turn one. So Tom Holden's got the lead and he's got the championship in his pocket as things stand. Kathleen's got closer. Here comes Ollier, had the lead temporarily. That's the second lead change. Third lead change as Holden goes back past. And here comes Kathleen up the inside. Here's Ollier back for the lead. That's the fourth lead change in as many corners. And Holden gets it back. Through the kink, down to the double apex, and Ollier up the inside. Did he get the lead there? Don't think he did. A little bit of contact with Holden, but no damage done. They're still running. So Holden has held on into the S's. Holden, Ollier, Catling, the only driver that can impact the championship now is Adam Catling in third place. Catling holds the keys to the championship title. Ollier has to go past Holden. He has to hope that Catling goes with him because nobody else is anywhere near to help James Ollier win the championship here. He set the fastest lap, 48.167. That's no good. He needs to win the race and he needs Catling to come second. Holden finishes third. Holden loses the championship by a point and we've got another lead change. That's 6 lead changes so far. Make it 7 as Holden gets Ollier on the switchback. Frustrating conditions up the inside though, taking a narrow line. Is Ollier one more time and gets the lead back, but for how long? Not very is the answer, because 9 lead changes now. It's incredible. Through the S's one more time. What is going on? What a race this is. In miserable condition, you can see on the camera lens the rain is coming down. It's very, very heavy. Through the line one more time. Ollier will look up the inside and he'll go for it and takes the lead. That's 10 lead changes, making 11. As Holden gets him on the switchback yet again through the gate at turn 2. Up to Hooton Hairpin one more time. Do these guys know I've got a heart condition? Where's my heart pills? I might need them by the end of this race. Again, you can see the rain coming down on this camera lens as they go through the kink here, through the little left-hander, into the double apex. Oh, and Ollier's got 2 wheels on the grass. That could have gone pear-shaped. But fortunately, he's just managed to hold it all together. A little bit of a look over his shoulder there. He needs to know that Catling's there and he needs to bring Catling with him. Yeah, but here comes Catling, takes second place off Ollier. That's not what Ollier wants, but he's got the outside line where all the grip is. And Ollier holds on, but he's lost track position. He's lost time. He's now got 7 tenths to make up. 4 laps to go as they go through the line. Catling now has set the fastest lap. And this is not good for Ollier. Catling up the inside for second again. Ollier around the outside. 2 wheels over the curb on the concrete. He's just managed to hold on. He's thinking what is going on. He goes for it. He's got the lead, but not for long. Make that 12 and then 13 lead changes as Holden holds on to it around the outside. He had all the grip on the outside. Ollier was on the inside where there's no grip. He's, well, there's going to be 3 laps to go as they go through the line. It's going to be Holden with 3 to go. He's got the championship in his pocket. As things stand, he's won the championship by 5 points if it stays like this. Now, if Ollier gets in front and drops Holden back to second, Holden's still the championship leader, but it'll only be by a point as they go through the line with 3 to go. Ollier needs to win. He needs Catling to go with him to come through to second, drop Holden to third. That would mean Ollier would win the championship by a point, but at the moment, if Holden comes second and Ollier wins, he will win the championship. That's Holden, that is, will win the championship by a point. The 3 of them go into Hooton Hairpin one more time. George Daniels is through to 4th, but he's too far behind to impact the lead and the championship positions. Holden holds on, takes a narrow line, taking a wider line through the double apex is James Ollier, just 2 laps and change to go. Ollier around the outside as he held on to it. Oh, a little bit of a slide, goes over the grass. Now, will he have to give that place back? I suspect he runs wide anyway. In fact, he looks like he does give that place back. Lead changes now 15 in total as they go through the line. 2 laps remaining. It looks like James Ollier there knew he went across the grass, had to give the place back and did, and he's got it back again. Lead changes 16 now. George Daniels sets the fastest lap, 47.6, but he's too far behind to win back the championship. Calling's right on the back of Holden. Holden up the inside, gets the lead back, but for how long? Around the outside comes James Ollier. Is this 18 lead changes? It is 18 lead changes in this one. It's absolutely unbelievable. My hernia is bursting out of his stomach. I'm getting that excited. Up the return straight into the Wilson S's for the penultimate time. Into Stanlow for the penultimate time. Catley's close enough. Now a little bit of contact between Hooton and Ollier, but no damage done. Ollier's got the inside lines. The starter holds the last lap board out. Tom Hooton, if he stays like this, wins the championship by 1 point. We're into the last lap, but Culling looking up the inside. If he gets past, he wins James Ollier the championship. He's got to go for it in the hairpin. If he's going for it, he's got to go for it now. Up in the hairpin, is Culling going for it? No, Holden's taken a narrow line, but that could compromise his exit speed as Culling takes the wide line in, but doesn't get alongside. So it's Ollier that leads it. It's a 1 point championship lead for the man in second place as things stand after 10 rounds of racing. It's going to be won by 1 point. I don't think the positions are going to change now. Through the S's one more time. Culling isn't close enough. Holden won't go for it here. He doesn't need to. He just needs second place. He knows that as the rain continues to pour down. Ollier! It's been all Ollier all day. He wins the battle, but it's Tom Holden that wins the war. He wins the championship. George Daniels with the fastest lap in 4th place. What a final that was with 18 lead changes. That is an absolute credit to the drivers out front, James Ollier and Tom Holden. Take a bow, my friends, because that is the kart race of the year right there. Absolutely incredible. Championship positions look like this. Tom Holden, your 2023 champion by 1 point. No chance to get your breath back. We're straight into the final for Senior Rotax. Mackenzie Stevens has been a comfortable winner in both of the heats so far, winning by over 7 seconds and then something like 3 or 4 seconds in heat 2. Can he do it again here in the final to take the big pot home? Here we go. Stevens down the inside. We're on board with Mackenzie Stevens in this one. Taking a narrow line into the turn. That's Jack Hayes-Roberts and Curtis Harding going through, but they haven't been able to hold on to it. Stevens has got it back through turn 2 and the gate contact as Jack Hayes-Roberts goes up the inside. That drops Stevens back to second. Looking up the inside is Louis Merica. Merica going for it and temporarily gets it. Louis Merica on the inside and gets the spot off Stevens, and Stevens having to fight back. This is not the start that Mackenzie Stevens wanted. After all the drama, Merica up the inside a second and he's got it back. We're back on board with Stevens. What a start to this race. This is not the start that Stevens wanted though. And after all the drama in the earlier junior race, we've got it all again here in the seniors. The rain is still coming down, not as heavy as it was in the junior race, but it's still coming down. You can see the rooster tails coming off the driver's rear wheels. Hayes-Roberts from Stevens, Merica's through to 3rd from Luke Davis, Robbie Rigby, Michael Adamczyk up to 6th, and Adam Cerner, Curtis Harding down to 8th place after spinning off through turn 1. We just about saw that on Mackenzie's onboard camera as we see the kart streaming up towards Hooton Hairpin. Bowker in 9th, Curtis Harding in 8th, now well out of position. Talking about well out of position, Mackenzie Stevens in 2nd. This is not the scenario he's been looking at all day. He was a comfortable winner in heat 1, over 7 seconds, 3 or 4 seconds in the second heat over this man, the race leader here, Jack Hayes-Roberts. But Mackenzie Stevens close enough, if good enough, we know he is, as Curtis Harding goes over the grass, just about manages to keep it together. So Mackenzie Stevens now has got to keep his head down here. Jack Hayes-Roberts set the fastest lap, 47.4, but Mackenzie Stevens, he knows from the earlier heats he's got the pace as Harding goes up the inside for another spot. Looks like he moved from 6th to 5th on Robbie Rigby there. Big lock up again from Jack Hayes-Roberts. Mackenzie Stevens watching that from the rear, and he's thinking, yeah, lock it up a little bit harder than that and you spin yourself off. That'll do me. I'll just go past and take a comfortable victory. But as it is, he's got it all to do here, Mackenzie Stevens. He's been comfortable all weekend. Now, has Jack Hayes-Roberts made a setup change to his kart that has just meant he's hit the sweet spot? Mackenzie Stevens is closing him, so he's just got to concentrate here on getting closer and closer, and then going for the lead, knowing he's got the pace to hold on. But fastest man on track is Jack Hayes-Roberts, 47.126. We know that Mackenzie Stevens was in the 46s in the earlier heat. Now, conditions have been changing with the rain. It's coming down, it's heavier, it's probably a little bit more water on track. You can see some standing water. The rooster tail is coming off the rear of the kart tyres. If you're Mackenzie Stevens now, you've got a face full of spray right in your face, half a second behind Jack Hayes-Roberts, but he's got to concentrate on trying to stay as close to Hayes-Roberts as he can, as he come through the S's one more time. This is better for Stevens, much closer, takes a narrow line into Stanlow though, and that will compromise his exit speed, and it does, as you see. Was 0.551 last time, it's 0.555, so just 4 thousandths of a second slower or a bit further behind that time, as Jack Hayes-Roberts sets another fastest lap, 47.026, not as fast as Mackenzie Stevens was in the earlier heat, but again, as I say, conditions changing, and Hayes-Roberts likes taking the risk, doesn't he, on the brakes, loves to hit the brakes hard, lock the rear end up, and that is risky to say the least. So there's the two lead. This is the battle now for third place. That's Louis Merica through to third. Here comes Curtis Harding recovering. Curtis Harding down the inside. Has he got the space? Has he got the track position? He has. Just about had enough space to get through. That's a difficult move to make in the double apex, but Curtis Harding now back through to third place. He's on the podium as things stand, but out front he's now nearly 8/10 of a second the lead. In fact, Mackenzie Stevens just going through turn one there. It was 8/10 when they went through the line. It didn't look like 8/10 as they went through turn one at Vauxhall. Back with this is a battle for third place. The leaders out front. You just see him going through Hooton hairpin ahead there. Looks like it's not 8/10 now. It's a bit closer for Mackenzie Stevens. That's Curtis Harding, Louis Merica. That's Luke Davis. In behind Davis, that's Michael Adamczyk. Behind Adamczyk is Robbie Rigby. So this is that battle third. This is the battle now for fourth, effectively on track. Looks like Curtis Harding might have third tied up. Louis Merica there on the 72. Luke Davis on the 54. Curtis Harding through the S's one more time. Out front is still 0.795. Well, it was last time's now 0.8. So Mackenzie Stevens, it's all going wrong for Mackenzie Stevens. Won the earlier heats comfortably, but out front, Jack Hayes-Roberts is making the best of the conditions here in the final. Now, this is that battle for the lead. That is Jack Hayes-Roberts. Again, big lock-up going into the hairpin. But Mackenzie Stevens, frustratingly for him, just cannot seem to get close enough to Jack Hayes-Roberts. Whatever Jack Hayes-Roberts has done to that kart, it's working. Welcome back to Hooton Park for the Senior Rotax final. Mackenzie Stevens has set the fastest lap, but as you can see from the timing on screen, on the penultimate lap, they'll get the last lap in order to go through this time. It's a race-winning lead for Jack Hayes-Roberts, and Mackenzie Stevens is going to be absolutely gutted after winning the earlier heats. He was hoping this was going to be a bit of a formality, but into the last lap, he's got the fastest lap, but he hasn't got track position. 47.003. He was in the 46s earlier on, although the rain has been coming down, so a bit more water on track, standing water that is, on track, and that may have affected his performance here in the final, but he's not going to take the final. This is where the trophies are handed out, and Mackenzie Stevens is going to come up one place short here. He has to take the positives out of the weekend. It's been a stellar performance in the earlier heats, which we will have seen, and he'll have the chance to look back on those in perpetuity. But the race win goes to Jack Hayes-Roberts when it matters in the final, and he'll take the winner's trophy home. Mackenzie Stevens in second. Here comes that battle for third place. Curtis Harding, Luke Davis and Louis Merica. That is, Curtis Harding comes home third in the end. Luke Davis in fourth, and Louis Merica dropped back to fifth by the flag. And then Michael Adamczyk going through the line. Jack Hayes-Roberts sets the fastest lap in the 46s, 46.743 in the end. As you'll see from the results, Michael Adamczyk, it was in sixth place, that was the prime mover in the final, made up 3 places in that final. But Mackenzie Stevens, got to think he's going to be absolutely gutted. Started pole after winning both of the earlier heats, and -1 means he's finished in P2, and that costs him the final victory, unfortunately, this time. We don't have the current championship points for Senior Rotax, but I can tell you that the 2023 champion is Robbie Rathbone. Didn't race this weekend, but he has been the most consistent performer all season, winning the championship before the end of round 8. Just the Rotax 177 final to come. We'll bring you the roundup of the Bambino class that took place this weekend. We've not featured that in this, but we'll give you the roundup and the finishing positions at the end of the show. Drivers come down towards us then, they get the green light, so it is Tommy Austin that leads it. William Dransfield, championship leader, coming through to second place from third on the grid. That looks like more there in third place from Cheadle and Mark Lambert on the yellow car, easy to spot. He's in fifth currently as they go up to Hooton Hairpin for the first time. So can anybody challenge Tommy Austin in this one? Dan Millward we thought might have the pace, but he DNF'd obviously in that first heat as going up the inside for the second spot is Roger Moore, but does he hold on to it? No, he doesn't. Dransfield gets him back on the switchback. Nice move. Roger Moore now down the outside, and Moore's going to hold on to it. Does, gets him back. Great racing as they stream through the Wilson S's one more time. It's about for third place. Cheadle battling with Dransfield. Dransfield just held on. Dransfield, the championship leader, and will be the 2023 champion if positions stay like this. I don't think anything can impact his championship lead now. Further back in the field, that's Mark Lambert on the yellow car. Looks like Ryan Walker on the 35. Went through the line in seventh, but loses the spot to Ian Presswich. Presswich up to seventh. Ryan Walker now back down to eighth. As again they stream up into Hooton Hairpin one more time. Battles all through the field. That's Mark Lambert with the yellow bodywork. Picked out there, he's currently in sixth place. Dan Millward now is up to fifth, by the way, on the 22 car. If he'd have started the race further up the field, you never know, we might have had a bit of a battle between Tommy Austin, although, to be fair, Austin's been the fastest man on track all weekend, so I'm not sure Millward would have challenged. He would have certainly challenged for the podium spot, so Austin it is, well clear from Moore, Dransfield, Cheadle, Millward, then Lambert, Presswich, Walker. Going through the line there is Ingham in ninth place, ran out top 10, Sam Booth, a winner and championship leader after round two. But 10th place today, Tommy Austin with the fastest lap, 47.784. Again, through Hooton Hairpin, Austin with a comfortable lead from Roger Moore here in second. This is Roger's best performance of the season so far. Clearly likes these conditions. And in third place, William Dransfield will win the championship this season. He's had race wins throughout the season. He's been arguably the most consistent driver. Well, not arguably, he has been the most consistent driver, because that is what wins you championships, consistency. And Dransfield going through there in third, but he is going to be the champion in 2023. Cheadle, Millward now in fifth. Presswich up to sixth, Lambert down to seventh, then Walker, Ingham, and then Sam Booth. That is Martin Ingham picked out, and he spins it off all his own work. The 83 driver, we know he's won races. Oh, he's absolutely furious with himself as he nods his head, not happy with that. Goes into the turn much too quickly, locks it up and spins it off. This is a battle between Lambert and Walker. Walker gets the best of it, going through the double apex, so Walker makes up a place on the 35 car. That should put him through to seventh place. Mark Lambert going through the S's in eighth. There he is on the yellow bodywork. I'm talking about in eighth place. Well, he's not going to be eighth place any longer. He's going to be ninth because he spun it off. Just went in too hot, lost the rear end, and that's him dropping further down the field. So he should drop behind. I think that'll be Sam Booth. Yeah, Sam Booth up to eighth. Lambert down to ninth. Ingham, we know, spun off through turn one at Vauxhall last time. So he's now down in 10th place. Tommy Austin sets the fastest up again, 47.368. He's been the class of the field in this one, 2.5 second lead. But this is a battle for second. Roger Moore and William Dransfield. This isn't over by any stretch of the imagination as they come through the Wilson S's one more time. Battle for second on track you're looking at. That's Roger Moore in second. He'll be hoping to hold on to that, be his best performance of the season. Clearly enjoys these conditions, the wet conditions. The lead now 3.2 seconds, 3.5 seconds back to Dransfield. Then comes Jack Cheadle getting a bit closer. He could have a say in this podium battle. Dan Millward there in fifth place now, but 8.1 seconds in fact behind. He's not where he would like to be, and if it wasn't for his earlier DNF in Heat 1, you never know. I think he would certainly be battling for the podium positions, Dan Millward. We know he's got the pace. Be interesting to see if he carries on in the class next season. This year, we've had two club championships effectively, the Indikart Plus Championship, which is this one we're watching now, and the Indikart Club, and next year it's going to be combined, so that will guarantee more drivers at each round, and that's a sensible thing to do moving forward. Looking up the inside for a spot is Dransfield, but can't get it done. Still Roger Moore holding on. How much of next season will bring you televised, we're not sure, but keep an eye out for the programmes on your local channel. I'm sure, I mean, particularly looking forward next season to see the junior Rotax class. That was a grid of pretty much 20 through the season. There's been another event on this weekend which has reduced the size of the field. That's to be expected. But next year we're expecting grids of 20 plus in the juniors and seniors, and hopefully 13 this weekend in this class. I'd like to see this one up at 16 to 20 next year if possible. Be great, because we know these guys like getting their elbows out generally and always bring us a lot of action, which is great to see. Austin leads it then from Roger Moore and William Dransfield. Looks like Aaron Knight, I think, in front of them here. It is. So the back marker is Aaron Knight, just about to get lapped on the 33, or is it 3:33? I think he's got 3:33 on his Kart. And looking up the inside, Dransfield's taken advantage of the back marker, and that's what you've got to do. You have to take advantage. It's how you deal with the traffic that can impact races. Dransfield down the inside, championship leader, just about holds on to it from Roger Moore. Roger Moore fights back though, up the inside, and Dransfield holds on to it round the outside. He had more grip there through the S's. It's Dransfield. Can Dransfield now hold on to it? Round the outside is Dransfield, up the inside is Roger Moore looking for the spot, but he's on the slippery part of the surface, the slippery surface on the inside of the track. It'll be Dransfield that has more grip going around the outside. All the grip is on the outside. Here comes Roger Moore. Oh, spins off and hits Dransfield. Now, is that going to give? It is going to give Jack Cheadle second place. Jack Cheadle, you can see the smile on his face from here. Let's have a look at the replay. Well, he's just gone in way too hot. Locks up the rear, he's trying to slow it down, as you can see, with the steering wheel, and then spins it and hits Dransfield, knocks Dransfield onto the green stuff, and here comes Jack Cheadle in fourth place. He's going to help himself from fourth to second. Dransfield just about gets it going and keeps it going. Wow, bit of drama there. But as we rejoin it, as you can see, that's William Dransfield back into second place. Cheadle there in third. Roger Moore desperately trying to recover to get that final place on the podium. We're into the last lap now. It's Austin for Dransfield. Not much to choose between Jack Cheadle and Roger Moore. Roger Moore, after a stellar performance this weekend, it has to be said, in the earlier heats and the final here, will be desperate to grab that third place back and get on the podium, frankly. It'll be disappointing if he finishes fourth. It's this man, Tommy Austin, who's been in a class of one all weekend, frankly. Over 10.5 seconds clear at the line last time. Wasn't much to choose between Cheadle and Roger Moore. Back markers go through the line to get the last lap ball, but that's the checker flag there for Tommy Austin, race winner. Comfortable victories all day in the heats, and now the final. That's Peter Abbott going through the line. He's in, he finished in 10th place. But there's Jack Cheadle, William Dransfield second. Jack Cheadle just holds on the third from Roger Moore. Roger will be gutted about that, have to say. And then Ian Presswich, fifth place, second in the championship. Ryan Walker in sixth from Dan Willward. And the final official result looks like this. In eighth place was Sam Booth from Martin Ingham and Peter Abbott, as I said earlier, finishing in 10th place. But it was a comfortable victory for Tommy Austin this weekend. He's not done all the rounds this season. If he had, maybe the championship might have a slightly different complexion to it, but it is, at the end of 10 rounds of racing, William Dransfield on the 26 Kart, who is the 2023 champion. He's been the most consistent during the season, taken race wins, putting him at the top of the tree. Finally, in the only other class racing this weekend for Bambino karts featuring drivers as young as 5 years of age, it was Harley Bebb, as a driver new to the sport, who found conditions most challenging, but he would go on to finish third in the final. It was 6-year-old Ethan Hume who thrived in the conditions, making use of his experience to keep the kart pointing in the right direction to take a comfortable win by the flag. Josh Sharples on the 22 kart would finish second, using the track time to hone his experience towards a challenge for the title next season. Well, that's it from the final round here at Hooton Park in 2023. We'll be back to cover at least a few of the rounds, including the Cheshire Cup event in 2024, and we hope to see you all then. From me, Alan Tuddie, it's goodbye for now.